a lot of these fighters are not going to want to fight him, not because they're scared of him, but they've clearly seen what talent he has. Where does he go next? I don't know. I mean, you chuck him in with Usyk, why not? I mean, I wouldn't if I was looking after him, because he's going to grow and get better. He's not going to get worse. He's not going to regress. If he gets outboxed by somebody, like schooled outboxed, which Usyk can do that to anybody potentially, that might dent his confidence enough to not making the same fight again, as a brutal knockout can for him and other people.
Joseph Parker has made it clear he's not afraid to face anyone, including the young powerhouse Moses Itauma.
I think as long as I focus on what Andy and my plan is, and I go in there and execute our plan, then I don't have to really worry about what he's going to bring, you know? But he is dangerous, very dangerous.
Moses Itauma has quickly become one of the sport's hottest names, a heavyweight phenom whose speed, strength, and composure in the ring have made even the most seasoned fighters hesitate. The 20-year-old has already carved out an impressive record of 13 wins, 11 of them by knockout, and he's done it with a calm, destructive style that's rare for someone so young. Although the dream of becoming the youngest ever heavyweight world champion slipped away, leaving Mike Tyson's record intact. Itauma is still seen by many as the man destined to take over the division.
You must have a view of what level you're at now.
If you want my honest opinion, I think
I do.
If my skill set, if you're talking about my ring IQ and what I display in the ring, I feel like I am the best in the world, but I haven't displayed the later rounds. That's all what I kind of want to get ticked off. So my next opponent or opponents this year, we're just looking at fights to kind of get me into that later round, because I feel like with Usyk, I feel like I've got a better skill set than him, but I feel like towards the later rounds, he'll just outdo me, because I've never been in that sort of fight.
His most recent victory came against Dillian Whyte, a former world title challenger known for his toughness and grit. Itauma didn't just beat him, he flattened him in less than 2 minutes, sending a message to the rest of the division. That win added serious momentum to his rise, but it also created a problem. Nobody seems eager to be next. Promoter Frank Warren has admitted that more than one fighter has priced himself out of negotiations, clearly not interested in the risk that comes with facing a young, dangerous contender. But Parker isn't like most. The former WBO heavyweight champion has been on a sensational run, defeating Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Zhang, and Martin Bakole, and he's set to face British champion Fabio Wardley on October 25th. A victory there could push him toward a title fight with Alexander Usyk, or even see him elevated to full champion if the Ukrainian decides to vacate. Still, Parker's focus remains simple. He wants to fight anyone, anywhere, and Itauma is firmly on that list.
Joseph Parker is back on the map!
You know, I've always been saying there's a lot of levels in boxing, and Joe's a world heavyweight champion former, and he's soon to be back there as well, in my opinion.
Parker's boldness comes at a time when Itauma's team is finding it harder than ever to secure his next opponent. After dismantling Whyte, many ranked heavyweights have turned down the opportunity to face him. The danger to reward ratio just doesn't make sense to them. Yet there are a few fighters who haven't ruled it out. One of them is the powerful Chinese contender Zhilei Zhang, a man who has already stopped Joe Joyce twice, knocked out Deontay Wilder, and gone the distance with Parker himself. When Zhang was asked about Itauma, he made it clear that while he hadn't yet received any formal offer, he'd be open to it if one came through. Known for his knockout power and resilience, Zhang would be one of the toughest challenges Itauma could face, and perhaps the perfect test to see if the young star is ready for the elite level. If that fight were to happen, it would be an intriguing clash between youthful explosiveness and veteran experience.
Moses Itauma is a great fighter. I watched a couple of his fights, and he just knocked out Dillian Whyte in 1 round. He was fantastic. But after my last fight, I was at the time being right now, and we haven't received anything from Moses Itauma in terms of fighting him.
Okay. Would he be open to fighting him? Not maybe December 13th, but next year, or maybe December. I don't know.
那你有没有想过呢？如果说真的是有这场比赛的机会了，有没有想过要打呢？
可以啊，没问题。只要有比赛，只要愿意找我的，就把合同发给我就 OK 了。
Anyone who wants to fight me, I want to see that contract. I will sign it.
While names like Parker and Zhang hover around Itauma's orbit, the WBA recently tried to force the issue by ordering Kubrat Pulev, its current regular champion, to defend his title against the fast-rising Brit. Pulev, a battle-hardened veteran with fights against Vladimir Klitschko, Anthony Joshua, and Derek Chisora on his resume, won that version of the belt by defeating Mahmoud Shar back in December 2024. The order seemed like the perfect solution to Itauma's opponent dilemma: a respected name, a title on the line, and a meaningful next step. However, things didn't go as planned. With negotiations already in motion, Pulev announced that he would instead defend his belt against Murad Gassiev on December 12th in Dubai. That decision effectively cancelled any immediate hope of an Itauma title fight, leaving his December 13 return in Manchester in serious doubt.
All right, let's talk Moses Itauma. There's a lot of talk about what next for him. Whilst in Nigeria, there was a lot of talk about David Adeleye or Michael Hunter. It's not going to be Adeleye. I was with Adeleye throughout my time in Nigeria. Adeleye is not fighting Moses Itauma, so I can sort of get rid of that one. That one can be chalked off. Then other name, obviously, Michael Hunter. I don't mind that at all. Michael Hunter, a veteran that brings a lot of experience, still seems good, hasn't taken much damage. Well, 1 second, is it not a step back? No, it's not a step back from Dillian Whyte. It's a step up. It's a step up from Dillian Whyte. Is it the big step we want? No, I mean, obviously, look, people were talking about Bacoli and Frank Sanchez. Sometimes you got to take it easy with these kids. Like, for me, as soon as Moses wasn't going to do this Mike Tyson record thing, I was like, okay, let's build him slowly then.
That announcement was another setback for Itauma's team, who were under pressure to finalize his next fight soon. The clock is ticking toward his planned December date, and while plenty of names have been floated, from Michael Hunter to other French contenders, nothing has been confirmed. For now, it seems Itauma's biggest challenge isn't inside the ring, but finding someone willing to meet him there. Meanwhile, the rest of the heavyweight scene has its own drama unfolding. Anthony Joshua, once the sport's golden boy, has also been making headlines. After a tough knockout loss to Daniel Dubois in 2024 and a subsequent elbow surgery, Joshua is now eyeing a comeback. His promoter Eddie Hearn has hinted that AJ will return against a top 20 contender before chasing a huge fight, possibly against Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury will return in 2026. Would Fury AJ be a fight you still want to see? Yes. Okay, I say, oh, you say yes now. Yeah. Why? Well, personal reason. I'll put $100,000 off Tyson Fury. By the way, everyone was always going to pick Fury for that fight after Joshua lost to Ruiz and Fury beat Deontay Wilder the way he did. However, I'd like to see it. For example, there's a common opponent, Francis Ngannou, went 10 rounds with Tyson Fury and lost a close decision, and Joshua decapitated him.
Enter Arslanbek Makhmudov, a 6'6" Russian powerhouse who recently made waves in Sheffield by beating British fan favorite Dave Allen. Makhmudov, known for his ferocious punching power and intimidating size, wasted no time calling out Joshua immediately after the fight. He revealed that he's already been in contact with Joshua through social media and believes their showdown could happen as soon as early 2026. Allen, who went the distance with Makhmudov but ultimately lost in points, admitted that the Russian was simply too big and too strong for him. Still, having sparred Joshua in the past, Allen confidently predicted that Joshua would have little trouble if the two ever met, saying he believes the former world champion would flatten Makhmudov within a couple of rounds. Despite that bold prediction, Allen also warned Joshua not to take the fight lightly. Makhmudov, he said, may be slower and past his peak, but he remains extremely dangerous in the early rounds.
Honestly, I just want to introduce you, bro. I know this guy. We make a deal already, like I said, and like it's my dream fight. That's why. From this moment, for now, of course, I need now go home, rest, see my family. But even before fight, I don't think about this fight. I think what was very focused. I say myself that you fight your life. But next step is Joshua. That's it.
I would absolutely love to see it happen. I don't think it will. I just caught a bit of Frank Smith's post-fight interview, and he was saying, Anthony Joshua's on his own path. I think that would be a very risky comeback fight for Anthony Joshua. There's a lot of questions there over what version of him is going to return to the ring physically, mentally, his punch resistance. And if Makhmudov comes charging at him, like in those first 3 rounds, that could end very badly for Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua doesn't have a chin like Dave Allen. He's a fighter who's on Makhmudov's sort of eye line, so the shots of it, he's almost an easier target to find in a sense. Obviously, he's got much better feet and a much more polished boxer than Dave Allen. But if Anthony Joshua was to like go on the back foot the way he did against Dubois early, and Makhmudov starts swinging in with those shots, that's got disaster written all over it.
And speaking of comebacks, Tyson Fury is once again at the center of speculation. After declaring his retirement back in January, the former WBC champion has been dropping hints that he isn't quite done yet. His promoter Frank Warren recently confirmed that Fury intends to return in 2026, but rather than targeting Joshua, his focus is set elsewhere. According to Warren, Fury is motivated by the idea of facing Alexander Usyk for a third time. The two shared the ring twice in 2024, with the Ukrainian winning both bouts in points and becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion. Those defeats remain the only blemishes in Fury's professional record, and insiders believe he's eager to settle the score before hanging up the gloves for good.
Well, I mean, the obvious one is Joshua, because everybody wants it to see that fight and wants to see that fight. That's an obvious one. But I think Usyk again would be. I mean, the Usyk fights are good quality fights, really good quality. They were close fights, and I don't care what anybody says. They were close fights, and they were bloody good fights. I could watch those again. I could watch that again.
I certainly could watch those again as well. But that age of fight, do you think it's possible? It's being talked about for so long. Do you think it's possible?
It's all
at
about
this late stage?
look. I mean, being blunt, it's all about money. That's what it's about. These guys, they get at the stage of their career and stage of their life it's tough. When you get older, it's tough. You're in the gym, you're working hard, and to get yourself to do that, you've got to be incentivized. And what incentivizes professional boxers is money. That's why they're professionals.
Usyk, now 38, has continued to dominate the division, most recently defeating Daniel Dubois at Wembley Stadium in July. A trilogy fight with Fury would be massive for the sport, but it could also shake up the heavyweight landscape for everyone else, including Parker, Dubois, and even Itauma. For Parker, that potential Fury-Usyk rematch could open doors. If Usyk decides to vacate one or more of his belts to chase bigger fights, Parker could find himself in position to claim a world title again, especially if he beats Wardley later this month. Itauma, who sits just behind the top contenders, might also benefit. With veterans moving toward the end of their careers, the path to championship gold could clear sooner than expected.
I do feel that my level is above his, and I'm gonna, my goal is to go out there and show it. I feel good. The camp has gone very well. I've put in the work like I always do. And listen, fighters always say each camp is the best camp, and this has been the best camp for many reasons. So I'm looking forward to the challenge that Terry Woolley's going to bring. I know he's got a lot of knockouts on his record, and his knockout ratio is quite high. But I do feel there's levels in this sport of boxing, and I do feel that my level is above his, and I'm going to, my goal is to go out there and show it on fight night.
In the broader picture, the heavyweight division hasn't looked this alive in years. Between Joshua's return, Fury's looming comeback, Usyk's dominance, Parker's resurgence, and Itauma's unstoppable rise, boxing fans are spoiled for storylines. Each fighter represents a different era and a different stage of the sport, but all roads seem to lead toward a collision in 2026 when the new generation finally takes its shot at the old guard. For now though, the spotlight stays on Itauma. His knockout of Dillian Whyte was the statement that shook the division. His search for the next challenger is the story that keeps it buzzing. Whether it's Parker, Zhang, or someone else entirely, one thing's for sure: whoever dares to fight him next will earn respect simply for saying yes, and if Itauma keeps doing what he's been doing, it might not be long before he's holding a world title and proving that all the hype was justified.